Where are my Golden State fans at? My name is Hayden Hoskins. I'll be a sophomore at Lexington High School. And I've been coming to Storyside for 8 years, and I'm a second-year intern. First of all, I want to thank all the pastors for the opportunity to speak today. I'm so thankful to have them in my life and to have them growing me and pouring into me. Can we give it up for them? My topic is how relationships and people try to steal your faith. I'm going to start with the verse. 1 Corinthians 15:33 says, "Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals." We need to associate ourselves with people that will better us in our faith. We need to be around people that won't drag us down, that will pull us up. Someone once told me that you're the average of the 5 people you're with the most. And I don't know about you guys, but if I'm the average of the people that I hang around with, I want to be around some pretty good people. After my first year of internship, I went back to school and kind of lost the faith. I fell into a hole of bad habits, and I got around the wrong people. I wasn't leading the life that God wanted me to lead. And around May, June, I was super excited for my second year of internship. I was pumped. I couldn't wait, but I didn't really know many of the interns. I knew them, but I never really talked to them. And now, these people, they're my best friends. Every time we're at internship or at church, we always go out after, hang out with each other, talk, have fun. And when we went to Central Youth Conference this year, it changed my life. This internship and this whole summer has changed my life. After CYC, I felt like I could take on anything. I was on fire. I felt like Satan couldn't pull me down. I felt amazing, but 2 days after, I went to football camp. And as you may know, football players aren't the best people to be around. And I kind of fell back into a hole. Satan kind of just punched me in the face. And my friends were dragging me down. They were, in just the 4 days that I was there, it felt like the whole entire summer before had just been washed away. All the stuff I've learned and all the stuff that's been poured into me in the internship, it just felt like it was been washed away. And I came back, and I was exhausted. I felt terrible. I wasn't proud of what had happened in those 4 days in Ashland. And I just felt terrible. I knew God wasn't proud of what had happened. I knew I wasn't proud. And I came back, and internship was the next day on a Thursday. And I came back, and I got with the right people, and it renewed me. It just washed those 4 days of, it just got rid of those 4 days of the bad relationships on the football team. A wise man once told me, "Show me your friends, and I will show you your future." Well, these are my friends, and this is our future. I want to end with a verse. Proverbs 13:20 says, "Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm." Thank you.
Hello. I'm Trey. I'm 17. I'm going to be a junior at Clear Fork. And I just want to thank all the pastors for giving me this opportunity to speak in front of all you guys and tell you my story. My subject is or the topic I'm going to be speaking is my past experiences. And past experiences are the things that you've gone through till this point. And so my past, it was long, it was rough. I started going down the wrong road, hanging out with the wrong friends. It all started eighth grade summer going into freshman year. I started smoking weed, and that was an everyday thing. And I was playing football at the time, and so when I got in trouble with the cops. So then that first time I got caught, I had to serve 2-game suspension. And then, so I served that suspension. And then on top of that, I had court and stuff. I was put on probation. I was on a diversion program. And then after that, I stayed clean, played the rest of the season. And then that track season, I failed a drug test. And how it goes is at Clear Fork, the drug policy, the first time's a 2-game suspension, second time's a year, third time you can't play the rest of your high school career. So I found out when I was in the hospital because I was having a procedure done on my heart. And I found that out when I was in the hospital. And so it was during track season, and it was the Fredericktown Invitational. So during all this time, I lost faith with God. And my mom, after the second time, she told me, the life you're living now is not for you because you always end up getting in trouble. And I didn't understand why she always said that until I failed a third drug test. That was the last football season. And that all made sense because after that third time, God spoke to me. He said, "Do you hear me now?" After I heard that, everything made sense with all the suspensions, with all the friends I lost, all the trust I lost. It all made sense. And I'd like to share a verse, Philippians 13:14. Brothers and sisters, I know that I still have a long way to go, but there's one thing I do. I forget what is in the past and try as hard as I can to reach the goal before me. I keep running hard toward the finish line to get the prize that is mine because God had called me through the Christ Jesus to live up in there in heaven. So the prize for me was I wanted to get back out on the field and back on the track to do what I love. And football is my everything. So that for me is going through all the meetings, had a meeting with the superintendent, lifting every day, getting my grades up, just showing like this Clear Fork Valley that I wanted to play again and like to live the life that God wanted me to live. And we must all do the one thing. Our one thing must be to stop focusing on all the things from our past. So that was a big part for me because in the past I cared because everyone thought I was just the old me, and I was going to show them like who I really am. I have a past, but I know that God has a prize for me, and that prize is for me. I believe is for me to show people who I really am and who He made me to be. I have a long way to go, but I'm thankful that I'm not where I used to be. I don't know where I was before. I knew I would not be in a happy place, probably in a very, very, very a lot of trouble. And we must keep running forward and live the life God has made you to live.
All right. So good afternoon now. My name's Dakota. I'm 19. I'm a first-year intern. And Tyler, you're still part-time. I love you. But I did just finish my first year of college. I'm going back. I am going to talk to you today about popularity. Before I get started, I do want to thank the pastors for everything you've done for me so far. Can't believe just since January, in 7 months, from some kid you met at the gym at 4 o'clock in the morning, this is where we are now. So one of the things with popularity that sticks out to me so much is back when I was in high school, I never really fit in with like the crowd. I was odd. I was loud. I'm still a loudmouth. I'm still very extroverted. But I would change styles. I'd change friend groups, change what I like to listen to in music, change my clothing, just try to please everybody. But with popularity, one of the things that sticks out to me so much is that there's so many different synonyms that go with it. And one of the big ones that shows to me is approval. And when we're around these people, you can just think, and when you're looking up to people, you get to think of the approval of what you want from your friends or your family, rather than being approved and what is seen by God. So I want to share a verse from Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as for working for the Lord and not for man. And so this really made me think over the last few days. I remember sitting yesterday in a work truck. I was down in Columbus working. And I was thinking to myself, why did I care so much about what all those people thought of me? Why did I want to please them instead of pleasing the God that created all of us? And I began that I wasted 4 years of going through high school, trying to be accepted, but realizing that the entire time I was already accepted by the great man upstairs. So, like I said, I'm speaking to somebody who's done the same thing, whether you're in school, whether it's your neighbors, your family. You don't have to please those people. If they're the people that were meant to be in your life by God, they're going to love you for who you are. You don't have to change for that person. You don't have to try to post something on social media. You don't have to try to be somebody you're not, because you are who they made you to be. God put you here for a reason. With the social media thing, this brings me to another point. That God doesn't love you because you posted a picture on Instagram that got 100 likes. He doesn't love me more than Tyler or Noah because my picture got 2 more likes, or that somebody retweeted my post and they didn't retweet yours. But my main point is that I want you all to understand is that you are already accepted. You're already approved. You don't have anything to hide from God, and you don't have to be approved by your best friend just for God to love you even more.
Hello. First of all, I'd like to thank Pastors Micah and Angel for this opportunity to speak. My name is Caleb Keller, if you didn't know, and I'm 14 years old, and my topic is places. When I was asked to speak about places, I first started thinking about what a place is. A place could be a physical location, like your home or your school, but could also be virtual, like social media or the TV. I'm going to focus more on virtual places than physical ones. Virtual places can be accessed anywhere and have been easier and easier to get to as time has gone on. Today, we are constantly connected to everyone around us. At any moment, we can contact anyone we know, and at any moment, anyone can contact us. There's a constant stream of information coming to us that never stops, always begging for our attention. But what is worth your attention? What should we give our time to? To know this, we must first know what our time is worth. This grid has one checkbox for every week of a 90-year life. That's a lot of checkboxes, 4,692, in fact. I'd like for you to assign a dollar value to each week of your life. Maybe it's $50 or $100 or more. Whatever that number is, I want you to keep it in mind. Statistics say that we'll all most likely die around the age of 75. That's 781 weeks that you'll probably never live. Out of those 75 years, you'll spend another 25 years, that's 1,303 weeks, of your life sleeping. And if you're 20 years old, you've already lived 1,043 weeks of that. Most of us are going to spend a combined total of 13 years on social media and TV over the course of our lives, bringing the total weeks remaining down to 887. That's 17 years. And that means that if you're 20 years old, you only have about a fifth of your life left to live. Even if we don't count social media and TV, it only leaves 30 years or a third of your life remaining. Where do you spend your time? Steve Jobs, the visionary and founder of Apple, died when he was 56 years old. Before his death on October 5th, 2011, he was quoted saying, "My favorite things in life don't cost any money. It's really clear that the most precious resource we all have is time." One crab in a bucket escapes quickly, but two never do. Each crab pulls the other down so that neither one can ever get out. Many people are the same way. When you start improving yourself, they'll feel threatened by you, and so they'll try to pull you down to bring you back to the way you were before. If you stay around those kinds of people, you'll never make any progress. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." There will always be people who don't like you improving yourself, but you need to persevere. In the words of Babe Ruth, never let the fear of striking out get in your way. Never let the fear of other people prevent you from doing great things for God. Over the course of this internship, one thing I've realized is that we're all like Lazarus being called from the grave. God brought Lazarus back from the dead, but Lazarus was the one that had to be listening to take action and get out. If you aren't in the right environment, you can't hear God telling you what you need to do. A lot of us have dreams to change the world for God, but before you can change the world, you have to step forward and change yourself. In an hour, you'll walk out these doors and you'll forget 80% of what you heard today. 60% if you're taking notes. That means you'll probably only remember one thing that I say. But if there's one thing I want you to remember, it's this. Your time is limited. The places you spend it in will determine who you become. And when you've checked your last box, who exactly will you be? Thank you.